The Vikings never carried canteens. They carried silver cups. And the water inside those cups arrived at the next port still clean. That is not mythology. Ibn Fadlan recorded it in 921 CE, watching Norse traders work the Volga River, men who spent months between settlements with no boiling, no filtering, no purification of any kind. The water did not make them sick. He noted the silver vessels. He noted the health of the men. He moved on to other observations, because to him the connection was obvious. This knowledge vanished from common practice exactly when municipal water treatment became infrastructure that could be owned and sold. Not because it failed, because it worked too well to need replacing. What you're going to build today costs under €2. No electricity, no cartridges, no replacement parts ever. One object, one function. The same object found in burial contexts at Birka, Sweden, dated to 750 CE, still structurally intact when excavated, still capable of the same work it was made for. There's one property of silver that determines whether this process works in 4 hours or in 40, and knowing it is the difference between something that functions for a lifetime and something that does nothing. You will have it before this ends. But first, you need to understand why most people choose the wrong silver, because that single error kills the result before the water is even poured. Sourcing is everything. You need sterling silver, hallmarked 925, meaning 92.5% pure silver, the remainder copper added for structural hardness. Not silver plated, not silver tone, not rhodium coated. Plating creates a barrier between the active metal and your water. The barrier is precisely the problem. A small coin, an old ring pulled from a drawer, a pendant no longer worn. You're not melting it, you're not reshaping it. Surface area is the variable that controls everything here. And a flat, clean piece roughly the size of a large coin is sufficient for 2 liters of water. Take that piece and examine it under good light. Tarnish, the dark gray or black film on old silver, must come off before you begin. Not for appearance, because tarnish is silver sulfide, a compound that does not release ions into water. It is an insulating layer. You are removing it with materials already on your kitchen counter using the same principle that operates inside a car battery. Align a glass bowl with aluminum foil, shiny side facing up. Pour in enough hot tap water to submerge the silver, not boiling, just hot. Add 1 level tablespoon of baking soda. Stir briefly. The foil and the sodium bicarbonate create a mild galvanic reaction. Sulfide molecules migrate off the silver surface and deposit onto the aluminum. Watch it happen. The foil darkens. The silver brightens. 2 minutes. You will see the discoloration physically transfer from one surface to the other. Lift the silver out and rinse it under cold, running water. Dry it with a clean cloth, not paper towel, which leaves fibers on the surface. Run a fingertip across it. Smooth. Slightly cool, even at room temperature. There's a faint, sharp, metallic smell when silver is freshly cleaned, and you will notice it now. That smell is not cosmetic. It is surface activity. You are already inside the process. Choose your vessel. Glass or unglazed ceramic only, nothing metal. A metal container interferes with ionic charge distribution across the water. Nothing with a plastic lining. Plastic binds silver ions before they can reach the water, and you recover nothing. If there is any uncertainty about your container, use a clean mason jar. 2-liter capacity minimum for a single piece of silver at this surface area. Fill it with cold water. Room temperature is the optimum range for sustained ion release. Cold water slows the process below effective thresholds. Hot water pushes concentration past the useful range, and the water tastes metallic. Room temperature means the process runs steady and complete across the full contact window. Place the silver flat on the bottom of the vessel. Horizontal, not propped against the side wall. Maximum surface contact with the water means maximum ion transfer into solution. Else Roosdahl in the Vikings, Penguin 1987, documents silver fittings positioned flush against interior vessel surfaces in Norse storage containers recovered from Hedeby, the trading settlement operational from 800 to 1050 CE. The positioning was not incidental, it was the mechanism. This is the step that separated Norse craftsmen who got results from those who abandoned the method, and it is the one almost everyone skips. Do not cover the vessel. Leave it open to air for the entire contact period. Dissolved oxygen in the water completes the ionic transfer chain. A sealed vessel cuts effective concentration by more than half. Norse craftsmen stored water in open-top silver cups, not sealed flasks, not because they lacked the ability to seal them, but because the opening was part of the function. The Gokstad ship, dated to approximately 900 CE and excavated in 1880, carried storage vessels with silver contact points positioned precisely where water surface tension concentrates at the rim. Early analysts called it decoration. It was not decoration. Set the vessel somewhere cool out of direct sunlight. UV exposure disrupts the surface reaction on the silver before it completes. Leave it undisturbed, 6 hours minimum. 12 is more reliable for water that will be used by more than one person. After the contact window, tilt the vessel and look at the water against a light source. Completely clear. No haze, no cloudiness, no visible particulate. If you see cloudiness, the silver was not fully cleaned or the vessel carried a residue. Redo the cleaning step. Restart the contact period. Clear means complete. What you are holding is bactericidal water, not filtered, not heat treated. The result of a process that has been operating since before the year 750 CE. The scale of this, how many liters a single piece covers, how long the silver remains effective, what conditions accelerate or shorten its useful window, that is what the mechanism explains. And the mechanism is one physical principle, arriving now. If this is useful to you, share it with one person who still replaces water filters on a schedule. Subscribe if you want the next documented method as soon as it is ready. Picture a water basin in an old building near a copper pipe. The area immediately surrounding that metal is measurably cleaner than the water 2 feet away. Not because of heat, not because of filtration, because metal ions migrate from the surface into the surrounding water and disrupt bacterial cell membranes before the bacteria can divide. You have likely seen the green stain on old brass fittings and assumed it was decay. It was chemistry. Active, continuous chemistry. Silver executes this process roughly 300 times more efficiently than copper. The ions are smaller, they move faster through water, and they bind to bacterial enzymes at concentrations copper cannot safely approach. The process is called the oligodynamic effect, from the Greek for small power acting on life, formally identified by botanist Carl Wilhelm von Nageli in 1893, operating in Norse drinking vessels 1,000 years before he named it. NASA confirmed the oligodynamic effect in 1972 and incorporated silver ion systems into the water purification aboard Apollo missions. No filters, no heat, no added chemistry, the same fundamental process. Not one mission reported waterborne illness. Ibn Fadlan recorded the same outcome watching Norse traders work a contaminated river in 921 CE. The vessels worked, the men were healthy, he wrote it down. This did not disappear from common use because it was disproven. It disappeared exactly when chlorination became the infrastructure through which water reached you, when purification became something managed upstream by institutions, at scale. There is no recurring revenue in an object you buy once. What you do with that information is already decided because you are here. You're not waiting on a filter shipment, not dependent on a treatment plant running correctly, not renting clean water from a system that can be interrupted. You are holding a piece of metal that has been solving this problem since before the year 750 CE. The craftsmen at Birka who placed silver in their water vessels are 11 centuries gone. Their method is not gone. It is working right now in the vessel you just made, in a room they never saw, for a problem they would have found entirely ordinary. That is who you are now, someone who holds a tool that outlasts every system built to replace it. If this belongs in your hands permanently, and it does, share it with one person still paying monthly for filtered water. Subscribe to hold the next technique the moment it is published. The next method is Norse cold storage, a documented preservation system that kept food viable for 8 months without refrigeration, recovered intact at Lens aux Meadows, c. 1000 CE. 3 materials, all of them already in your possession. It is the next video.